Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're actually going to be talking about a very widespread, but fast moving thankfully, snowstorm. Now I'd actually consider this to be the first snowstorm of the season for the mid-Atlantic northeastern area. Now this will actually be really only affecting midland areas, that is just way further in than where I am, located in New Jersey. So not just there yet, but you have to remember that it's only November. In fact, we're actually most likely to get snowfall during the months of January and February, so we still have quite a ways to go. But so anyway, here's our setup we're looking at here. So basically what we have in stock is an abrupt pattern. And when I say pattern, I just mean the weather that is being delivered to us by the jet stream. And what this is doing is shifting a little so that it'll actually bring much colder air mass to the northeast, as well as accumulating snow in return. I'll actually go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about here. When I say cooler air mass, meaning we're going to get a lot more cooler temperatures than what we're actually used to. And I'm not even just talking overnight lows, I'm talking about daytime highs as well. We just go to the temperature here, just around ground level, just above ground level, to the forecast loop. We just fast forward a little bit here. We're just seeing currently right now. I'm actually recording this right now at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon here on Sunday. See, it's already really across the whole state of Pennsylvania. We're not seeing temperatures really over 31, 32 degrees. Really, we're not really seeing any temperatures above freezing, which is just really unbelievable right now. Even as we fast forward into tomorrow, we're still not really going to see highs get over 30, really only 35. So much cooler temperatures than what we used to. Even if we go over to even if we just go a couple days ahead here, you can see it's still not really reaching temperatures above 30 until up until a while, up until a couple days later here. But this is really around I believe this is next Thursday actually. So really not going to see temperatures get above 40, even into the 60s. You're actually going to have a huge warm up here. Really not until later next week. But until then, throughout early next week, throughout the rest of this weekend, really not seeing any temperatures above 40, so it's going to be really almost like Arctic air we're seeing here, dipped in from Canada. You see that? How the jet stream, we have this giant trough here, it's delivering all this cooler air. That's what I meant by when it shifts, it's going to dip a little lower, and this in return is going to bring a lot of this colder air. You can see it's just this constant path, almost just a swath here. You see, even like in Nebraska, we're getting to the 50s a little, almost reaching 50. Then if we just move a little more northeast into like Minnesota, it gets into the 20s. So really a drop in temperatures here as this giant low pressure system you see right here is forming. A lot of circulation there. It's just rushing in all these cooler temperatures. Okay, on to the next subject though. But also upon this passage of the storm here, so this is our first system we're tracking right now, bringing a lot of snow through. I don't think it's actually go ahead and update it a little. Still really tracking through Ohio and western Pennsylvania. See where that's most of the snow is. So we're positioned right here currently. A lot of snow. It's bringing a lot of snow to Pennsylvania, even portions of New York as well. But throughout last night, conditions deteriorated quickly. I was actually viewing the radars and quickly changed from rain to snow. There wasn't much of a transition from to that freezing rain. It really temperatures just dropped as this cooler air mass came in from Canada. But due to the swift movement of the storm as well as the jet stream, there was little snow which had disappeared by Sunday morning. There wasn't as much snow as for like portions of Pennsylvania here. By this time though, the snow was actually just exiting out of the northern plains region. They got a lot of snow here in North Dakota as well as Minnesota as well. As this is the first snow for some though, we actually have to remember since roads are not yet prepared for winter weather, we can still expect slippery road conditions, even at higher altitudes if a small amount of snow is even present. So winter-like weather might actually be in store for the northeast over the next couple days as this cold air actually settles over the region. But if we actually move back to yesterday, during yesterday's severe weather, is what we actually saw across the northeast. So we're going to go from severe weather to snow. But during Saturday's severe weather, hailstones actually up to $half size actually fell across the state. But as far as what we got in our area, I mainly just saw very high wind gusts up to maybe 30 to 40 miles per hour. I actually posted a reel to my Instagram. That was around 40-mile-an-hour gust there we saw occasionally. At one point, it was really almost every 5 minutes. Really sustained winds at anywhere from like 10 to 15 miles per hour. It was very windy. I'd say that's the most impact we had there. Not much hail or blinding rain. I mean, it rained pretty hard during the morning hours. Once we transitioned to the afternoon hours, it wasn't as bad. Mainly, the wind was the biggest story there. But definitely, I'd say northern Jersey and the New York area, I think they actually reported a couple of EF0 tornadoes, so even some tornado action as well, and that's where they got most of the hail and more severe weather. This cold air we're seeing right now is actually really left behind by the storm yesterday, and it's actually really, I'd really say it's really what's responsible for the rain and snow showers across the broader area of the northeast tonight and into tomorrow morning. But as the snow actually accumulates at lower elevations, there could be snowflakes for the first time along the I-95 corridor. Another big effect is worth mentioning is the lake effect snow showers that will also be found downward just of the Great Lakes even into the night and tomorrow morning as well. With this snow is actually also going to be arriving in many northeastern locations. So the system that we're actually looking at right now, you see here, This low pressure system really stationed over eastern Ohio, bringing a lot of that snow into western Pennsylvania. We have a good lot of snow there. We can actually go to the NAM model so we can see a little more. We get a little more visual. You see there, you see where those more darker blues are in western Pennsylvania, maybe even the high resolution refresh. You can see just now traveling into Pennsylvania, a lot of that snow there, almost covering up the whole western portion of the state. So a lot of snow they're receiving there. What the system is actually predicted to do, it's actually predicted to shift off the coast by Monday, roughly by Monday, you see here. But what I might end up doing is actually might start strengthening here as it begins to push offshore. We're gonna go back to the GFS model here. As you see, if we actually just fast forward here, just slightly, as it really enters the northeastern New England region, up into portions of northeastern Pennsylvania, even into New York, we actually see some of that more darker blue showing up. I believe it may actually strengthen here, causing more snowfall in portions of New England. But really from the New England coast to the Jersey Shore, steady cold rain will actually dampen areas along the eastern seaboard. There's actually a possibility of snowflakes reaching major cities such as Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. But I'm really only forecasting that these cities will get like minimal snow, nothing too crazy like we're seeing in western Pennsylvania, or cities like Cincinnati or Erie in Pennsylvania, like cities right off of these Great Lakes regions where they're going to get a lot of lake effect snow. We're doing the morning commute for cities like more like Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and Albany, New York as well. But there's actually no accumulating snow currently expected along the I-95 corridor this week. In fact, actually, if Philadelphia and New York City get any snow this week, it'll still be quite early for their typical season. For New York and Philadelphia, the first measurable snowfall typically happens around December 7th and December 9th, respectively, because according to statistics from previous snowstorms, measurable snowfall is actually defined as an amount more than half an inch. But now I'm actually going to move in to where things are actually currently happening, which happens to be, like I said, really in the whole Ohio Valley region, eastern Ohio, and western Pennsylvania. Snow is actually expected to fall throughout the region as the upper trough approaches, like it has been, what you've been observing for the past couple of hours. But despite relatively warm lower levels, a strengthening upper jet is actually and more deeper moisture. So this isn't really the Clipper snowstorm we're referring to. We actually are seeing more moisture associated with this system. Will actually allow for more effective snowfall, especially as it moves into the northeast. That's when we're going to see some more or should I say New England, that's where we're going to see some more of the snowfall. But as far as the daytime, a large part of the accumulation will occur on more grassy or elevated surfaces due to marginal surface temperatures and warm temperatures on the roads as well. But despite some of the mixing of the rain and snow, precipitation should mostly fall as wet snow based on model surroundings and thickness values. Like I said, mainly the Ohio Valley, not so much I-95 corridor. Not time for that yet. As most of us know, as altitude actually increases, accumulation will be greater. It's typically what we see. It's kind of the setup we see here in California with the Sierra Nevada mountains. You get a lot of snowfall up there, even with the mountains in the northwest as well. But on average, we're looking at with this system, really anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow accumulation will be observed, with localized amounts maybe approaching 5 to 6 inches. But this radar is still indicating the same swath of snow that we observed earlier. That was then across lower Michigan all the way to eastern Indiana, it's really past that by now. It's really where we're seeing it. This is where we're seeing it right now. It's really mainly affecting western Pennsylvania, maybe still some snow left behind in central Ohio, but not as bad as it was. The swath has weakened a little bit. It's now moving more northeast, and now New York is getting most of the snow, especially in cities like Albany, right off the Great Lakes. But as the snow begins to fall, like I said, it's really going to be more fast-moving as opposed to other snowstorms. So as some of the snow begins to fall, it's going to be very heavy. It's going to be very thick snow. So visibility will certainly drop down to really even, I'd say, half a mile or less. Temperatures are also expected to drop a couple of degrees, but dew points will really be remaining near 30 degrees with the strong Clipper system passing near western Wisconsin. Just this morning is what we observed. But as of this morning, we saw this system begin to materialize when it was in western Wisconsin this morning, but it's now actually heading southeast. It was also heading southeastward towards our area, but now it's beginning to move a little more northeastward towards northwestern Pennsylvania, and now even into New York as well. As of around noon, I'd say the storm's system centered was actually really centered around Lake Erie, so there was some dry air there at the lowest levels of the atmosphere to overcome. But it should, what actually happened was it slowly saturated as the morning continued, and that is what brought a lot of that lake effect snow, as that more of that moisture built in. So it really wasn't as much of a strong Clipper system then. But actually look back to the dew points here. We actually only saw dew points in this area. Really, I'd say in like the upper 20s, where Lake Erie is, upper 20s, maybe the lower 30s as well. But what actually happened was it actually allowed us to cool the lower atmosphere through evaporation. So all of the northern Ohio and northwest Pennsylvania areas will actually be in the light to moderate range of wet snow. So I'll remind you guys again, with lake effect snow, it is no joke. Visibility will just drop, maybe limited to less than 1 mile at times due to this moderate to heavy snow. But as for temperatures though, well, what we're still seeing as of even right now, it kind of remained the mid to upper 30s. Of course, overnight lows got into the even the teens into the upper 20s as you get into the overnight hours. And for a snowstorm, if we're actually talking about a snowstorm here, they're actually relatively high temperatures. We're really usually talking about a snowstorm. They're expected to be much lower below freezing point, mainly into the middle to lower 20s. But despite these relatively high temperatures, snowfall rates still were actually heavy enough to cause wet snow accumulations on these grassy surfaces and high elevations. Now, throughout the evening, we may actually, into the overnight hours, we may actually see some more gusty northwesterly flow across Lake Erie. If we actually go to the these winds, the upper levels of the atmosphere will be much more gusty with a northwesterly flow across Lake Erie in the area. But even the surface level winds, we're still looking at really the same thing here. So what's going to happen because of this? We're actually going to transition from a general light snowfall to a lake effect snowfall that favors these what's called snow belt areas. This lake effect snow will actually really I'd say this lake effect snow will kind of kick back on when it hits Lake Erie because of the localized instability and atmospheric energy. And when I say this, I'm mainly referring to if we actually go to what's actually labeled on the severe weather. We go to the Cape values. So in terms of accumulated snowfall, right now we're actually looking at really, I'd say anywhere from 1 to 4 inches are actually really possible in these areas, especially when we get closer to where the lakes are with the lake effect snow. Definitely 3 to 4 inches are possible. Again, nothing too severe. It's not going to be buried in snow, but still the biggest snowstorm we've seen this season, so it's a little exciting, I guess. The lake effect snow, along with the rain as well. These rain showers will be really present for most of the day. Tomorrow, for the snow belt. But temperatures will actually really be in the mid to upper 30s during the day, which should actually really limit these additional accumulations. So mainly going to get more rain tomorrow. Parts of the region will actually receive snow in the afternoon due to an upper trough in place. We're going to have this upper trough in place as well as a strengthening upper jet and a moisture level of roughly 14 degrees. But despite this rather warm lower level air, effective snowfall will still be possible. Snow showers are actually likely to persist tomorrow. And the colder northwest flow through the evening as the base of the upper level trough still moves across the region. But upslope accumulations do have a tendency to actually be greater, with 1 to 3 being generally reasonable, but with localized accumulations approaching 4 inches, really on those mountain ridges specifically. So anyway, guys, that's really about it. It's going to cover this video. Really our first snowstorm of the season, I'd say. Really, I'd say the most snow we're really going to see here can maybe be to 5 to 6 inches. Higher altitudes are really still going to see no more than, I'd say, 6 inches. It's not going to be like some of the snowstorms we saw last winter in Northern California, where we're going to get feet of snow. It's not going to be nothing like that. Even the lake effect snow, as you can see here, what the radars are really showing. This is only saying we may get a maximum of 2 inches. Go to the NAM model. These are just snowfall rates in the last 24 hours. Here we're still only seeing a maximum of 2 inches, but I do anticipate some of this lake effect snow, as well as snow in the higher altitudes, and maybe reach 4 inches plus. So maybe not even 5 to 6 inches. Just exclude that for a second. But really in total, still something exciting. But it's really going to be at the wrap up this video, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please like this video, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel if you do like these weather updates and these do interest you. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. See you in the next one.